today's math video, we are going to learn something new. We are going to look at some three-dimensional shapes. So with two-dimensional shapes, like we reviewed on Monday, like our square, our triangle, our rectangle, all those shapes we can tell the length and the width. So we can tell two things, length and width. That's why we call them 2D. Now the shapes I'm going to introduce you today are 3D or three-dimensional shapes because we can measure the length, the width, and the height. So the first 3D shape we're going to look at is the cube. So here is what 3D shapes look like when they're drawn on a paper. You can see they have a dotted line, and that lets us know that they're 3D. Then they give us an example, so dice are cubes. And then it tells us the facts about cubes. So cubes have 8 vertices. Remember, those are corners. How many did a square have? 4, only 4, but a cube has 8 vertices. They have 6 faces. So here is a cube tissue box. And the face, kindergarten, is this flat surface. So I'm going to use a Post-it to remind myself where I started so I don't count too many faces. So here's 1 face, 2 face, 3 face, 4 face, and then we can't forget the top and bottom. 5 face, 6 face, and then we're back to where we started. So there's 6 faces, flat surfaces on the cube. And then the last thing is 12 edges. So normally when we're working with squares and triangles, we talk about sides. So edges are kind of like the sides of 3D shapes. Here is an edge, here is an edge, there is an edge, there an edge. So let's see if I can keep track while I count the edges of a cube. I'll start right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now these ones, 9, 10, 11, 12. A cube has 12 edges, 6 faces, and 8 vertices. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that, kindergarten, is an example of a cube. Now, the next shape is a cylinder. So the example of a cylinder they gave us is a can of like soup or green beans or corn. It's a can, a tin can. And it says cylinders have 2 faces, so remember that's flat sides, 0 vertices, no corners, and 2 edges. So let me show you my example of a cylinder are these Clorox wipes, and it says it has 2 faces. Here's 1, here's 2 faces. It has 0 vertices, I don't see any corners, and it has 2 edges. Here's 1 edge around the face and another edge around the face. And that is a cylinder. The next shape is a rectangular prism. Can you say that with me? Rectangular prism. That's a big word. It sounds like it looks like a kryptonite word, huh? So the example they have here is a brick. A brick is a rectangular prism. That just made me think of something else you might have at home that's a rectangular prism. Legos. So this says rectangular prisms have 6 faces. Remember, a face is the flat side of a 3-dimensional object. So for this one, I have another tissue box, but this one is a rectangular prism tissue box. So it says it has 6 faces. So I'm going to get my Post-it so I don't get confused when I'm counting. Here's 1 face, 2 face, 3 face, 4 face, and then I need to count the ends, 5 and 6. There are 6 faces on a rectangular prism. Next is 8 vertices. Can you help me count? 1, remember a vertex is a corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 vertices on a rectangular prism. And the last characteristic is it says there's 12 edges. Do you believe that there's 12 edges on this? So remember, an edge is from vertex to vertex. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I have to count the ones that are vertical. 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoa! That is a rectangular prism. The next shape is a sphere. So their example is a beach ball, is a sphere. So a sphere has 0 faces, so that means it has no flat sides, 0 vertices, no corners, and 0 edges. So here is my example, a tomato. Some tomatoes, kindergarten, grow in the shape of a sphere. Of course, if I would take off this stem, it would be a better sphere. But this is an example of a sphere, a tomato. The next shape is the triangular prism. And their example for this is a tent. Have you ever slept in a tent? That means you've slept in a triangular prism, if your tent looked like that. So triangular prisms have 5 faces. Remember, faces are flat sides or surfaces. They have 6 vertices, and they have 9 edges. Let's check our example. So I couldn't find a triangular prism anywhere in my house. So I went online and I found free printable 3D templates. So all I had to do was cut it, and I taped mine, or you can glue it, and you can make your own 3D shapes at home. So this is my triangular prism. Do you notice there's a triangle on both ends, and it's stretched out, making it a prism. So it says there's 5 faces for a triangular prism. Let's count. And I put my post-it there to remind me. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 faces or flat surfaces. Now there's 6 vertices. Can you help me count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. There's 9 edges on a triangular prism. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that is a triangular prism. Now the next shape is a cone. When you draw a cone, to show that it's 3D, make sure you have those dotted lines at the bottom. And then this is an example of a cone, a birthday hat. Or, you know what else is in the shape of a cone like this? Ice cream cone. Yum! I didn't have any cones here. I can't believe it. I'm not ready for a birthday party at all. But I did use the online template and I made my own cone. So cones have 1 face, 1 vertex, and 1 edge. They have 1 of everything. So on the cone, where do you think the face is? On the bottom. 1 vertex, right there, and then 1 edge, which is this outer edge. And that is a cone. The last one I'm going to show you today is called a square-based pyramid. So they have a pyramid like you might see in Egypt as the example. And this is how you would draw a square-based pyramid. Why do you think they might call it square-based? Because the bottom is shaped like a square. So a square-based pyramid has 5 faces, so 5 flat surfaces, 5 vertices or corners, and 8 edges. Let's check ours out. Again, Miss Rock could not find this shape in her house. I hope you guys can find these shapes in your house. The square-based pyramid, I know it's square-based because the bottom, the base of it, is in the shape of a square. It has 5 faces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it has 8 edges. Help me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 edges. I really want to challenge you guys today to try to find 3-dimensional shapes that we've learned around your house. I'm going to quickly go back over the shapes we learned today. So we learned about a cube, and an example of a cube is dice. We learned about a cylinder. The example they gave us is like a can of soup. We learned about a rectangular prism, and their example was a brick. Then we learned about not a circle. What's this called? A sphere, and they used a beach ball as an example of a sphere. Then we learned about a triangular prism. Everybody say that with me. Triangular prism. And their example was a tent. Then we learned about a cone, and their example was a birthday party hat. And last we learned about the square-based pyramid. Remember, why is it called square-based? Oh, that's right, because the base of it is in the shape of a square. And their example was a pyramid from Egypt. I can't wait to see pictures of all the 3D shapes you guys find around your house. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Happy Earth Day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!